Welcome into 5 Wide. I got my props and locks for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Honestly, could be the best weekend of the football calendar. This Sunday, the matchups between the Bills and Bengals, the 49ers and Cowboys. I might have a better Sunday this Sunday than I will on Super Bowl Sunday. Those are really exciting matchups. Can't wait to get into them. I've got 3 plays for you guys. We're on a 5-1 run the last 2 weeks. Daniel Bellinger, just a couple yards, and we would have had back-to-back parlays of over plus 600 hit. Became a little short with Bellinger, but we're on to this week. Like I mentioned, 3 plays, 3 different games. If you guys want all of my thoughts on these games, these matchup sides, totals, props, I've got plenty more. They'll be coming on the OwnersBox Sports Twitch channel. We're live every single day, actually, but we'll be live at 2:30 and 1 o'clock, 2:30 Saturday, 1 o'clock Sunday, getting deep into these games and previewing the matchups and getting more plays to you. So come join us there. Ton of fun on there. You can drop your plays in there. We're always interacting with the chat if you're looking to play DFS, whatever it might be. But if you're betting on these games this weekend, be sure to go check out our partners over at BetFred. They have an awesome offer for you when you sign up. If you sign up, deposit $50, bet $50, you're going to get $111 in free bets. And it doesn't end there. They're also, in your first 4 weeks, you're going to get up to $1,000 in bet insurance. So how it works is, for each week, you're going to get $200. Anytime a bet loses, you're going to get 50% of it back in bet credits. So we're all betting. We're all losing time and again. And if you do lose, you're going to get some of those losses back from BetFred. So that's a huge help for that account to get you going. So let's go to the plays for this week. Hopefully, we're not needing those bet credits because we're going to cash all 3 and cash the boost. All 3 of these plays parlayed and boosted over at BetFred. Let's start with Saturday. I've got 2 plays on Saturday. Let's start in Jaguars Chiefs. I'm going to Travis Kelce over 79.5 receiving yards. This Jaguars matchup is a juicy one for him. He cleared this number earlier in the regular season against Jacksonville. I expect plenty of points in this game. The betting total at BetFred, 53. So definitely expected to see a lot of points. And it's because the Chiefs are one of the best teams in the NFL in the first half. And the Jaguars are a terrible pass defense. They got a good run defense, but against the pass, they have not been good this season. They rank 30th in pass DVOA, do not have a good coverage grade. Jacksonville as well, allowing the 4th most receiving yards to tight ends, over 60 on the season. And when you put that into perspective, there's not a lot of quality tight ends in this league. That is not a good number. They're only a couple yards better than like the Seahawks are and the Cardinals are during the regular season. You know, we saw Gerald Everett have a huge game last week. I think it's going to be much the same here with Kelce. We see McCole Hardman surprisingly not playing. He was practicing in full this week. I was surprised to see that. But we see him out. We see Kadarius Toney not playing a ton of snaps. Juju's kind of been missing the last few weeks. Travis Kelce's game elevates in the postseason. He's averaging over 86 yards per game in the playoffs. This is a juicy matchup for their pass game, not as much for their run game. I think Kelce can hit this number by halftime. I think Mahomes throws for over 200 yards at the half. The Chiefs will be scoring on plenty of drives. I think they probably cover too, but definitely tune into the Twitch and we'll get more into the matchup and how this all works. But I love the matchup for Kelce in this matchup against the Jags. So make sure you're smashing that over 79.5 receiving yards. All right, Saturday night, getting together with the fellas, having a couple drinks. Here's one that'll pay for those drinks for you, whether they're at home, whether they're at the bar. Richie James, over 45.5 receiving yards in this matchup against the Eagles. I absolutely love this. I was looking and trying to figure out how I wanted to play this game. I kind of like the Eagles here, and a big reason is their defense. I was looking to potentially play some unders, but I don't want to give you guys too many unders. I know for a lot of you, it might be tough to swallow, but my last play here will be an under, but we'll get to that shortly. This is a great matchup for Richie James. I know his snaps were down a little bit last week. He didn't have a big week. He had 4 receptions, 5 targets, like 30 yards or so. But the Eagles are an elite defense against the pass, against wide receivers on the outside. You look at this season with James Bradbury, Darius Slay, 2 elite coverage guys, and the Eagles play a lot of 2 high coverage, almost 60% of plays, which is top 10 in the NFL. That leaves that middle of the field available for the slot. I was trying to find the best numbers I could. I think I found the right number. It said 6th most receiving yards to the slot this season. But looking, trying to find the right information, I was able to find something from a fantasy perspective that can paint the picture for us. They were second in fantasy points, were second last in fantasy points allowed per game to the slot, and they allowed the most wide receiver production. This was coming from Razball. two slot wide receivers. They were first in fantasy points per game allowed to wide receivers on the outside and allowed the least production to receivers out wide. So this information definitely points me in the direction that I'm on the right track here with Richie James. I think you can play Darius Slayton's under as well. He's definitely a good look. He went under in that previous matchup against the Eagles, not in the last week, a couple weeks prior to that. And James is exclusively out of the slot. 84.6% of his routes come from the slot. I was looking in the Eagles' previous matchups. In 3 of their last 4, the wide receiver that ran the most routes out of the slot also went over this 45.5 receiving yards. Most of them went for actually 60 plus. That's what James did in his matchup against the Eagles earlier this season. 7 receptions, 61 yards, and a touchdown. We love that. I think James is in for a big week. I'm worried about the Giants' passing game. It's an Eagles team that generates a lot of pressure from the edges, from really all over the line. But I do think that the Giants are going to need James in a big way here, because I think the outside guys in Hodgins and Slayton will struggle. So go get James over 45.5 receiving yards. That is the second leg of our parlay and the second play you should be locking in for this weekend. Last one might be one of my favorites. A lot of people that are placing bets in the NFL, they don't really, they look at a prop or they look at a total, and if they don't like the over, they just move on to the next one, which should not be the case for some of you. Unders are a great way to make some money. Christian McCaffrey, under 4.5 receptions. You look at this offense, you look at this team, since Christian McCaffrey has entered and since Brock Purdy has been the starter, he's gone under in 3 of his last 4 games with Purdy. They obviously are a team here that is built out between McCaffrey, Ayuk, Debo, Kittle. They have so many options for Purdy. The check down is not necessary for them. Going to McCaffrey as a receiver has not been happening lately. He had 2 receptions last week against Seattle. I'm going to the receptions as opposed to the yards, because this is an offense from Kyle Shanahan that is just built for their pass catchers to have yards after the catch. So I want to avoid any big plays, but his target rate is not there. It's not at a serviceable level, and Dallas has been very, very good this season in terms of limiting running back receptions. They allow just 3.7 per game this season. That's 4th in the NFL, and they actually allow less targets than the projection 4.5 here. They allow only 4.4 targets to running backs. So when you're playing the Cowboys, you don't tend to check the ball down to your running backs. I think that will continue here because it hasn't been in the MO of the San Francisco 49ers ever since Purdy's taken over at quarterback. It's gone under in 3 of last 4 of last 6. So definitely go look to lock this in. It's going to be a little juiced at some books. Do some line shopping. Come play it at BetFred, where we're going to have this boosted, this whole parlay. But definitely look to lock in Christian McCaffrey under 4.5 receptions. Still some value here, even if it's juiced. It's a number I don't think he'll have much chance of hitting, with it needing to get to 5. I could see 2 or 3 definitely in the likely outcomes for McCaffrey. So go lock that in. And if you can get 3.5 and an under, I would definitely play that, potentially plus money too. Again, we're going Travis Kelce over 79.5 receiving yards, Richie James over 45.5 receiving yards. We're going Christian McCaffrey under 4.5 receptions. All 3 of these in a parlay, boosted at BetFred. Just go to the boost section, the BetFred boost section. You'll see the 5 wide boost there, and you can get this play in, and hopefully we'll turn like $10 into $70. It'll be great, and we'll have a great divisional round weekend. Again, if you guys want to come hang out with us on Twitch, we got tons of people hanging out each and every day, each and every weekend. I'll be live at 2:30 on Saturday, 1 o'clock on Sunday. OwnersBox Sports on Twitch. Again, thank you to our partners at BetFred for sponsoring the show. You can go sign up and get over $1,000 in bet credits at BetFred with the link down below in the description. All right, that's everything for this weekend. Good luck with the plays. Let's go 3-0. Let's cash the boost. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we will see you next time.